Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTN Sports in association with Round for Round Boxing. In association with Round for Round Boxing, the new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4 in 2019. Right, without further ado, I have with me this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, wherever you're listening to this, boxing master, a boxing guru, one who has given me many pearls of wisdom along the years in terms of understanding the sport of boxing, and has given many other boxers and other people in the sport of boxing many pearls of wisdom. We have with us Master Uncle James Ali Bashir. Uncle, how are we doing?
We're doing fine, thank you.
Uncle, it is great to have you on the show as always.
It's great to be here.
So, as we're in, as they call the festive season, how have you?
Say it again.
Can you hear me, Uncle? I said, can you hear me?
Some interference. Say it again.
Try again. Can you hear me now, Uncle?
Yes, I can.
Right. How do you celebrate the festive season? Hey, good morning, good afternoon. Hold on, Uncle. It's sports association round for round. We're having some. I know we're getting interference. We're getting interference. Hold on a second, Uncle. We're just getting interference. Hold on. I'm going to fix the interference and we'll be with you. It was around the Christmas period or around the period where new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox. 2019. Right. Without further ado, I have with me this evening, this afternoon, this morning. Right, that should have put an end to that. Why it was still going, I've got no idea. Anyway. Now we're freezing here as well. Okay. Right. Let's get back to where we were. Okay, so there we go. Sorry, Uncle. So how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing well.
So during the period, this festive season, what have you been doing with yourself?
I do what I normally do. My days and nights are never disconcerted. I'm always on the same page. I'm always on the same grind. I'm always doing what I do as a boxing personality.
Okay, so to do a review of 2018, we would have to probably look back first at your own fighters, maybe. We'll start there, and how the year started for you with your fighters and how it's progressed and where you are now at the end of 2018.
I work with so many boxers, so many fighters. I'm here, there, all over the world. I'm filling in for this trainer, I'm filling in for that trainer. A lot of times I'm making cameo appearances because a trainer might be down on his health, he might be in a hospital or something. I'll have to fly in 24 hours. I might have to fly, halfway across the world just to be at a fight, to work that fight for that trainer. So
wow.
It's an active business. It's an active business. The trainers come to each other's aids when they're needed, without being egotistic or anything. You go in there and you do the job for your fellow trainer.
Okay. So let's talk about the fighters that you have in your stable at the moment, beginning 2018 to where you are now with them.
Well, I've got Wladimir, of course. I had a fight here in Kiev, Ukraine, last week. And fought a well-traveled boxer, a Brazilian, Brazilian guy fought Derek Chisora.
Nascimento. Nascimento. Yeah, Nascimento.
Yeah, he's a well-traveled guy, sneaky guy, very knowledgeable in the ring, but Vlad was able to extinguish him in 3 rounds, so I was happy about that, that he got such an experienced guy out of there so early, was very pleasing for me because I know that if this guy really warmed up, he could cause problems, and I didn't want that.
Okay. When a fighter like yours puts on a performance like that, and you think about who he's been in the ring previously with, and do you take into consideration the fighter's age, wear and tear, past sell-by date? Do you take those things into consideration? Do you just say, well, no, it's a good win, and you just move on?
You take his age and his experience. What for him to move to an opponent such as the one that he fought, because I had looked in on some of his fights on YouTube, and I had examined his record. He had been in with so many good guys, and some of those guys weren't able to get him out of it, Joseph Parker being one of them. Well, Joseph Parker got him out of it, but he got him out of it later in the fight. I'm always concerned when I'm boxing a guy, of that caliber, because of his well-traveled experience, and I know that he can cause problems. He can make you look bad, or either he can get a guy get a young fighter out of it, frustrate him, confuse him, and steal the fight. So yeah, I'm quite concerned about fights like that. But fortunately, Vlad got him out.
Would you not have said that was slightly overprotective, bearing in mind how good Vlad Tsarenko is, and you want him to step up anyway?
I want him to step up, but I want him to step up gradually. I don't want to feed him steak when he should be eating baby food. That's how young fighters' careers get ended. I don't want to rush them. The heavyweight division is alive and well, and it's thriving with young talent. So, I think our trainers on time. We're doing things accordingly, and I think our trainers on time.
Okay. So in retrospect, looking at Vlad Tsarenko's year in boxing, how's it been for you in terms of development?
It's been very progressive. Very progressive. We was able to go into the Alexander Povetkin's camp up in Moscow, Russia, and we spent a few weeks there boxing with the former champion Alexander Povetkin, who, by the way, is a very, very nice man, very helpful, very kind. It was a unique experience for a young boxer like Vlad Tsarenko. Prior to him going into the Povetkin's camp, we were able to travel to the Alexander Usyk's camp here in Kiev, and he sparred with Usyk for a little over 2 weeks, and that was a plus for him. Usyk himself even came to me and said that Vlad Tsarenko was not the same guy he boxed 2 years ago. So, that made me feel good. That made me see that we was on the right road to progression.
Of course, he also sparred with Britain's Daniel Dubois as well.
Yeah, Daniel Dubois. We been going around boxing circles, boxing guys, and he's getting all the education education that's needed at this particular junction in his career. Been going around. We've been boxing. We boxed Joe Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we boxed Joe Joyce. And the former champion, his name eludes me. I got so much going on in my mind. Former champion that lost to, how can I forget his name, you know? But it escapes me, the former champion.
Stavern.
Stavern.
There you go.
So in short, Vlad is moving right along. I'm very, very proud of his progress. Ron Vister, the current South Africa heavyweight champion, we had to struggle with him in the early part of the year. You know, a failed drug test was inciting the fact that he had used steroids. And as it turned out, no, he had not used steroids. They were wrong. You know, they were wrong with the test. They were wrong the way they did the test, everything. And as it turned out, he didn't use it. So we lost months, valuable months, you know, fighting the case in court, thousands of dollars, you know, lost thousands of dollars from revenue as price we could have had. So, you know, we got back. Ron just had a fight 5-6 weeks back, whereas he had a 5th, 6th round KO. So we're back on track. We're going to fight in Pretoria, South Africa on February the 10th. He'll defend the South African title against Elvis Moyo, a very experienced heavyweight fighter. Also from the DRC. You know, he's a tough guy. You know, we're in a tough fight, so we're going to prepare for him religiously. And Ivana Harbison, you know, we're still trying to get the fight with Cecilia Brekos, which I doubt will happen. I don't think that Cecilia Brekos wants that fight. You know, I think she wants to go out of boxing undefeated, and I think she feels that if she faces Ivana Harbison inside the ring, I think she feels that she'll be beaten. So I blame her, and I can't blame her. You know, I blame her because she's a recognized force in boxing, and she's undefeated. And Ivana was the welterweight champion and gave Cecilia a shot at that welterweight title. That's how she became the IBF champion, because she beat Ivana. So I think that it's only deserving that Cecilia gives Ivana a rematch. But it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And the other girl is too big for Ivana. Even though Ivana is the middleweight champion right now, Clarissa Shields is a big, strong, young champion. And I don't know if Ivana is big and strong enough to fight with
Clarissa Shields.
Clarissa Shields. I don't know whether she's big and strong, even though she's been fighting at middleweight. It's another thing when you're naturally a junior middleweight or welterweight, and then you just take on weight just to make the weight to be in a fight.
Yeah.
So I think that the future holds. In 2019, I see Clarissa Shields and Ivana Harbison most likely will be the two who mixes it up, and hopefully we'll do it at 154 pounds, because that's the only way I can see that the fight would be no advantage for either girl. You know.
Have you seen the progress of Katie Taylor this year?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen much of it. I've been pretty busy. I haven't seen it.
Okay. On the subject of people, go ahead. No. I'm just saying, it was just a passing comment because we're talking women's boxing. Of course, Jessica McCaskill couldn't get the fights that she wanted, and her and Rick Ramos, and they moved up in weight and fought the best fighter in the next division up, and became world champion.
Yeah, I got a feeling that's what we're gonna have to do with Clarissa Shields. And Clarissa Shields is a really, really rough champion. I like the way she looks. I like the way she's progressing. She's a really tough fighter, you know. But Ivana Hapazin is a really tough fighter too. I think that we can handle the workload. I think that we're going to move up and eventually fight Clarissa Shields for the middleweight championship of the world.
What about moving down to light middleweight?
Yeah, I said that. I said that I would be willing, but nobody at light middleweight wants to engage Ivana Hapazin. Nobody wants to engage her. That's why we left welterweight, skipped over junior middleweight, and went up to middleweight.
Wow.
My preference to have her at 54. I think there at 54, she would find herself a home there because of her weight. You
know? Okay. Let us talk. We talked about, there's another gentleman that you've been training as well. I've been seeing photographs of him as well. He looks a young lad, lighter weight. Look like he's a welterweight or something like that.
It could be any number of people here in Ukraine and in South Africa. Any number of people coming to train with him.
I think he's black, but he's got a Russian or Ukrainian name.
Yeah. So he has a white mom and a black father, born here in Ukraine. Yeah, he's a pretty good fighter. You know.
Are you working with him long term, or is it just intermittently?
I've worked with him the last 2 fights. I suspect that I'll be working with him a couple of months.
So there's nothing in stone about you working with him then?
His name is Vladislav Baranov.
Yes.
B-A-R-O-N. Vladislav Baranov. And he's a pretty tough fighter. I think that I can turn him into a contender. He has the right attitude. He has the right. You know, put it like this here: his plus outweighs his minuses. You know, I like him. I feel that I can do some things with him.
Okay, let's talk 2018. I don't know where we start 2018, or we could start by the ending of 2018 and take us back into the beginning of 2018. I didn't want to bring this up, but it seems appropriate because you talked about Cecilia Brækhus and her, you know, looking for, to coming to the end of her career. Here's a man that's fighting in a few days' time, Floyd Mayweather, against some kickboxer. Can you make any sense of this?
Well, you know, the only sense I can, I'm on the outside looking in. I don't know what's Floyd Mayweather's motives for doing this. One reason is money. You know, I've never heard nobody say that they had too much money. So that to me is his motive. Him trying to stay relevant. Who knows? Could be, could not be. You know. But I do think people are challenged that they can sink their teeth into. Take on an Earl Spence. Take on a Crawford. Take on a Thurman.
But hold on.
Take on.
I know you say that he took on Canelo, and then people discard the Canelo fight and say, "Well, Canelo was too young."
Well, Floyd's credit, very clever to fight Canelo when Canelo was just a pup. Was green, very green, wasn't ready for the likes of an educated guy like Floyd Mayweather. But, however, from the one that Floyd fought some years ago. This is a different Canelo now, a much more matured Canelo. And he's not that cub that he was. You know, he's a full-fledged lion that he can scratch. You know, so I'd like to see that. You know, I'd like to see Floyd if he's going to fight. I'd like to see him come in and do what Muhammad Ali did facing Larry Holmes. Do what George Foreman did versus Muhammad Ali. Take roll the dice, roll the dice in a very suspenseful atmosphere. Roll the dice so that people can have some sense of danger that he could possibly lose. But the things that he's doing now in the McGregor fight and this fight, it does nothing to get me off the porch.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's other people who feel like I do.
Okay.
It's becoming a little bit boring now,
Yeah. I get that. So many topics to talk about in boxing. I think one of the two things connected with yourself directly, as I see, there's a picture of you I've got posted up on the wall, a picture of your face, and it's got you wearing the precision craft in a yellow jumper on. It's one of the interviews we did back in the day. I used the picture from that. And the two things that get brought to my mind is,
I don't know which one it is.
yeah, I'll send it to you afterwards. It's two things. The Wladimir Klitschko, obviously, your connection with him and your thoughts about him. Lots of rumors swirling around. He's making a comeback in 2019. We talked about this at the end of when he had just got beaten by Joshua at the hotel room. He said, you didn't think it was the last time you'd see of Wladimir. Now there's rumors swirling around of him making a comeback. Your thoughts?
We were in London, all right?
Yes, we were in London that night.
And I told you then that, and I told you that in the weeks thereafter, I told you I didn't know what his intentions were. I just had a gut feeling, is what I described to you, a gut feeling that we had not seen the past of Wladimir Klitschko. I just couldn't see a guy that worked so hard to get that far in boxing. I just couldn't see him just folding up his tent and going away quietly into the night. I just didn't see it. And the fact that he stays inside the gym. Every time I turn around, he's somewhere boxing somewhere. He calls me on this day. He called me on that. I was boxing the day. I boxed 6 rounds. I boxed 8 rounds. I'm saying a guy that wants to retire doesn't keep on him for working. No. So yeah, I figured that he would come back at some stage. I think in all likelihood that he should take a fight, maybe 2 fights before going after Joshua, Deontay Wilder, or Tyson Fury. I think he needs a couple of fights, real atmosphere to gauge himself.
Wladimir Klitschko versus Deontay Wilder seems the most logical fight to make, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because he's fought Tyson and got beat. He's fought Joshua and got beat. But there's always the Wilder question, and Wilder is the WBC champion.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that happening.
I know there was a time that that Klitschko wanted to face was interested in facing Wilder. What's the case with that now?
I mean, it's a fight that could still happen. It's a logical fight that could still happen. I believe that that's a fight that he would most likely move towards, especially in light after the fight between Tyson and Wilder. He has to be like millions of other people who saw holes in armor, his armament. He saw holes in it. And it has to make one wonder, can I get away with it? Certain things in the ring with Deontay.
I know I asked you this question before, and I'll ask you again. When Klitschko and Wilder were sparring back then, how much improvement has Deontay Wilder made since that sparring session back then?
Well, you say progress.
Yes.
To me, it's not that much progress. It's not that much progress. From what I saw then to what I see now, there's not that much progress.
Wow.
But, technically, there's not that much progress because knockouts can make a fighter's mentality lazy. I've seen this before, and I'll probably see it again before I leave this earth. Knockouts can change the way a fighter does things, you know, the way he approaches his workouts, the way he approaches his sparring partners, his attitude. You know, you're 40-2 now. You're 40-2 with 40 knockouts or 39 knockouts or something of that nature. When you get that many knockouts, it's hard to talk to fighters. It's hard to get fighters to see things the way that the trainers see it. You know, I see a lot of holes in his armor as a trainer. I know other fighters see it. So, I mean, as far as him improving, I don't see the improvement. I see the same Wilder that I saw 5 years ago because he has the knockouts. You got the knockouts. It's just hard to get through to a fighter. It's hard to say, hey, you need to change this or you need to improve on that. You know, it happens to all fighters in every weight class because everybody is patting them on the back saying you're doing a good job, you're doing great, you're doing swell, and then, oh, we get a hiccup in the road. God, no, we lost the fight. Now everybody is running for the fire exits, trying to correct what's wrong. But what is wrong is that trainers and managers and promoters, they allow the fighter to get out of hand by telling the trainers, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this way, I don't want to do that way, because I've got the knockouts to prove it. Don't fix what ain't broke. That's what they say, right?
Exactly.
Don't fix what ain't broke. It's a stupid saying to me. It's a stupid thing. Because my thinking is that ounce of prevention is worth an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's my logic. You gotta troubleshoot. Even when you win it, you gotta still look for ways that you could be beaten. Even when you win it, you gotta still look for ways that you could possibly lose, you know? There's some rumblings coming out of the Adonis Stevenson. May God have mercy on this young man and restore his ability, you know, just to have a normal life, you know. But rumors coming out of camp was that there was a struggle, you know, with the training, with the training regime, the training routine. You know, there was a conditioning guy that was calling his shots over the trainer. You know, in short, it wasn't a good camp leading up to the fight where he got injured. He's got a brain injury. They had to open his skull. And when you have a brain injury, there is no more boxing. It's done. That's done. It's all over. Now what we're trying to do is just make sure this man gets his ability back to live a normal life with his family. You know, but that's what it is. It's hard to get through to this fight. If I'm talking to a fighter, any fighter that I deal with, I'll tell them something. If they don't listen to me, then I'll pack my bags and I'll take my show on the road. I'll leave in a minute. You know, I'm in Europe right now as I speak, and I've been in Europe for the last 6-7 years because I can't get nothing done with the American fighter. At some stage, the American fighter is always telling the trainers what they need to do, what they don't need to do, how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. And you were just 10 years old, 8 years old when I started this. Most trainers at least get 30, 35 years in. And then you got some young kid that's going to come in and tell you how they're going to do something. Well, how did that work out for Charlo? I understand that Tony Harrison is the new WBC junior middleweight champion of the world.
I was about to talk to you about that. That was the next thing in the yellow and the red. Brought up Tony Harrison. And thank you so much for introducing me to Mr. Harrison. I will be chasing him up to do an interview on BWTM.
It's just hard to get through. So I don't see.
What was your assessment of that fight, by the way?
Just for women, understand the logic. And Deontay Wilder coming into a ring at 212 pounds. I don't understand the logic. You're a heavyweight. You come in the ring at 212 pounds, 10 pounds over the cruiserweight limit. So I don't understand the logic in that. Because if he had 225, 230 pounds, Tyson may not have gotten up off that floor. But he came in at 212, 213 at the most.
Okay, let's get into this because there's a video that's floating around on YouTube stating that Deontay Wilder possibly is on some sort of steroid or performance-enhancing drugs. That's why he's dropping weight so fast. And now that he's signed up to VADA and the WBC, that's why.
I've been around. I've been with him.
Okay.
Hung out. You know, we was in the training camp together. We hung out together. We laughed together. And if you look at Deontay, he's got a small frame. He's really he's a tall guy, but he's got a slender, muscular frame, and his legs are like toothpicks. So yeah, I can see him, but he's got to put that weight on. You know,
but
he's got to put.
They're saying that his weight has dropped, and they're saying that's because he's been VADA watching him carefully, and so therefore he can't use any sort of enhancement to bulk himself up. That's why he's been dropping weight so fast. What's your professional opinion on that?
I don't know. I don't have any knowledge of weight enhancements or anything like that. I have no knowledge, and I don't want to pretend to have knowledge. You know, I do think that that he needs to pick up weight. You know, there are ways to do it. You know, I've done it a lot with Emmanuel over the years. There are ways to do it, you know, where you can pick up the weight naturally.
I saw Lennox Lewis, when he got knocked out by Oliver McCall, when he came back with Emmanuel Stewart, he put on weight.
Well, that weight can act as a cushion to absorb the shock. In other words, you get hit by a shot at 225, that affects you greatly. If you get hit by that same shot at 250, and the shot doesn't do that much because of the weight, it absorbs it. You know, it absorbs a lot of the punishment. You know, so that could be a case for or against. I think that Deontay Wilder needs to at least come into the ring, and I think he's 6'7". I think he needs to come into the ring at least 230, 235 pounds, at least. Okay,
we got somebody in the room called Bob Sanders who says, it annoys me that Uncle Bashir shows no respect to Mark Breland.
I never disrespected Mark. Mark is a good friend of mine, you know. But I will say that's the gentleman, that anybody can make a mistake. The greatest trainers in the world have made mistakes, you know. I don't know how I'm disrespecting Mark. I'm just giving an opinion. I don't know what Mark's power or control in the camp.
Bob says he wants to make it clear he means no Wilder. I mean, he says it annoys me that he shows no respect to Breland. That's what Wilder. He thinks Wilder shows no respect to Mark Breland.
Well, I'm relieved, man, because my mind started scrambling for the door. I'm trying to figure out what did I do. I didn't see it. No, like I said, you know, I'll say to the gentleman, you know, it's a trainer has a very unique and complicated job, because a lot of times he has to go in there and be not just the trainer. People just look at it like you just go to camp and just train the boxer, and then you go back to your room. You go, no, it doesn't work like that. A trainer got a 24 hours and 24 and a half hour job. So always got to be there. He's got to be the lawyer. He's got the maid. He's got to be he's got to be he's got to wear a lot of hats. You know? Or may not have that much control, right? He may not have that much control, whereas people are listening. You remember Eddie Futch with Riddick Bowe. After Bowe won the title, Eddie Futch left because it became so difficult of a task for him to be what he was to Bowe prior to winning the title. So it could be the same situation with Mark. Maybe Deontay means to respect Mark. Maybe he means to do right by Mark. But like I said, you got 42.
Talk to me about your thoughts on the second knockdown of the Fury Wilder fight.
It was a bit late start. I know the timekeeper outside the ring starts to count, but I thought that the referee was just a little bit lenient there, you know, starting the count and then. Family picnic to find out he was all right. I mean, he was laid out on the floor like he was at a funeral, and then he counted, and then he got up. Some say he didn't beat the count, some say he did beat. But after he got up, there was at least 5 or 6 seconds that the referee kept talking. Okay, and I'm trying to find out what was he trying to find out. So I would have had a problem with that. I would have had problems with it. That's why I didn't argue with the draw.
How do you see a rematch going?
I'd see a rematch that Deontay Wilder would knock him out. I think he would knock him out.
That's...
I mean, again, Tyson boxed well because Deontay Wilder was boxing so bad. You understand? It's just like Tyson can't get out that aura, you know. He fought Klitschko. Klitschko didn't do nothing in that. So he made Tyson look better than what he actually is or what he actually was. And Deontay Wilder came back behind him and did the same thing. Deontay Wilder made Tyson Fury look like a strategic boxer. I think that if a boxer came in and boxed with Tyson Fury, that he wouldn't look as good as he does. People say, well, he moves like a light heavyweight. You know, he does it because the people that he's in the ring with does not have the education, or they don't show the education to do nothing about it.
Absolutely.
You know, he's back and forth, he's making all these faces and putting his hand behind. He's doing all that because Profano does not have. Yeah.
But that's actually the code of Tyson Fury when he's doing that stuff. That's the best time you're going to clip Tyson. When all of Tyson's knockdowns have been when he's clowning around. Best time to clip him. And he does it in all the big fights. He does it. Clowns around. Loses concentration. And only Klitschko didn't capitalize on it. Uncle? There's he gone. Don't know what happened there, Uncle. He just left us for a second. We'll catch him. We'll get him back. Hold on. Hold on. Let's get you back. Hold on, Uncle. I'm just trying to you up on the phone and you're not coming up again. Oh, there we go. Oops. Yeah, got you. You were saying, Uncle?
What was I saying?
We'll talk about Fury and Wilder. And
I mean, nobody has that Joe Frazier like work ethic. Where Joe Frazier was always on his opponents. You know, he's always in their mouths, just like a dentist or something. You know, he's always there working. Tyson Fury has not faced that kind of opponent yet. You know.
Yeah.
I want to see a big guy as big as him that has that work ethic that comes forward that puts so much pressure on you that just makes you fight, not slipping and sliding and doing all this cute stuff. I want to see him fight, you know. So I like Wilder in the rematch.
Matt B makes an interesting point. He says, Wilder has a chin to absorb punches from a guy 30 pounds heavier. Shows that skinny legs mean nothing when it comes to punch resistance. What are your thoughts about that, Uncle?
In some cases they do, in some cases they don't. You know, in some cases it depends on the individual, how well that individual takes a punch. But a lot of times having skinny legs is like having no shock absorbers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times that plays a role in how the punches are taken and absorbed.
What about Thomas Hearns, another big puncher?
See, Tommy Hearns had problems when he had to take it. He has skinny legs. He was a dangerous puncher. But he has skinny legs, and sometimes those legs are relied on to act as shock absorbers. You know, so it could be a case for, a case for, and against.
Okay. I love it when people make assumptions. Call 2971 says Bashir is not a fan of Fury.
No, that's not true. I'm a good fan of Fury. I like Tyson Fury. And I think that Tyson Fury could be better than what he is. I see some loopholes, some things that needs to be worked on.
Uncle, you know? to be honest, my personal opinion is I haven't seen progression from the Fury that fought Klitschko to the Fury that fought Wilder. Same fighter to me.
Right, and that can be blamed on the fact that he let his uncle go. You know, he has this young man working. You know, he has this young man working with, and I'm not going to discredit the young man because he's trying to find his way too. But all I'm saying is that young people have got to get under the old people to learn how this thing is done. That's how life. When we come from the womb knowing nothing. How to eat, how to go to the bathroom, and how to beg for more food, making noise and shit. That's what we know how to do. Everything else we rely on our parents, our relatives, our neighbors. We learn our growth. We learn everything from language all the way up. Everything from getting under the older people. But then when we get to a certain age, 13, 14, 15, 16, then we know it all. So the people that raised us, they don't know jack now because I'm 13, 14, 15 years old. So now I got this. I got this. Just follow me and I'll lead everybody. This is how the world is. That's why the boxing is in the state that it's in now, because everybody knows. So he gets rid of Peter Fury and he brings in a young understudy. God, what is the guy, 25, 26 years old? Mm-hmm. He put him in. And now where does growth grow? How does he grow now? You got a guy, same thing Wladimir Klitschko did with Jonathan Banks. What, Jonathan Banks at 29, 30 years old? So what does Jonathan Banks know at 29, 30 years old? What does anybody know at 29, 30 years old. I got married at 21. I still didn't have a clue what I was doing when I was 30. I was just on the wheel. You know, I was just going to work every day, coming home, give my money to my wife, pay the bills. What did I know? I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing. I didn't have no kind of calibration of what I was doing. So how can you possibly expect for Tyson Fury to get better and he has nobody to teach him?
Well, a lot of people are upset at the way Freddie Roach operated, but I'm like, why would you bring Freddie Roach in the gym and bring him down to be a cuts man? That's an insult. I mean, think what you want about Freddie Roach, but he's a Hall of Fame trainer, and you're really just trying to establish your name in boxing. In terms of Ben Davidson,
he's got Ricky Hatton, he's got Freddie Roach, he got, you know, I mean, you've got all of these people in there. For what? For what? They're not going to throw any punches for you. They're not going to take any punches for you. So what? What's it all about? What was it? I mean, it was the who's who, but for what? What was Freddie Roach going to do? What was Freddie Roach going to do? Freddie Roach couldn't do nothing. Nothing. He couldn't change nothing. He couldn't do nothing. And it's a good thing that the guy was there. I will say it's a good thing the guy was there because he did some pretty good work. For a guy 25 years old, he did some pretty good work. He didn't fold. He didn't crumble in the corner. I think that he gave some pretty good instruction from what I can see. You know, that he gave some pretty good instruction. Freddie Roach might have got him knocked out.
Yeah, that's true.
Freddie Roach might have got him knocked out, you know, tell him to go forward, you know, doing the same stuff he's doing with Marquez and Pacquiao. Because he's a sensationalist trainer. He wants knockouts. He wants to say, you know, Freddie Roach might have got a knockout. Me, I just want to win the fight.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I said this to people before the fight. Got to understand what the trainer is, not the personality, but what their theology or what they're about. And then Freddie Roach went on this program, Fair Play, and he asked his opinion of what he thought about Fury's performance and the trainer, and people were devastated to hear that he wasn't buttering up Ben Davidson.
Well, Freddie Roach is an egotistic maniac to me. You know, his whole legacy lies in Manny Pacquiao. You know, that person's great. This person's great. What makes them great? Sit down. Let's itemize what makes him great. Sit down. Let's look at his legacy and find out, you know, what makes him great. You know, what makes him great. And the average person can't tell you 5 things that makes him great. You know, so I just miss all of that.
Shout out to World Breaker Fighting, by the way. I hope you're well, brother. Ruben Guerrero says, well, Tyson's been out for 2 years. So what improvements are you expecting, Ingram? Been out for 2 years and you had 3 fights under one trainer. I expect to see some refinements, or at least see some adjustments to see where that trainer has made his mark. Tyson doing something different, but he was doing the same things he was doing when he fought Klitschko. Exactly the same. Exactly the same things. The same moves, I said what he needs to do, stay off the ropes. And if he was on the ropes, what would happen to him? And look at where he got knocked down. Exactly what I said. When his back is against the ropes, he's most vulnerable. That's where the knockdowns were scored.
You know, I think that Deontay Wilder's punch was well timed.
Yes.
I think it came from a pattern that Tyson does.
Exactly.
There's a pattern that he does. And I've watched him over the years. And if you watch the pattern, you can time
him. Exactly. And I was saying it.
Every boxer can be timed. That's why I have measures that I teach boxers to break up their time.
Well, I was talking about this in commentary, and I said it many times. Every fighter has a pattern, or most fighters have a pattern, and most fighters today have only a plan A. They're a come forward fighter, they're a counter puncher, they're a sniper. But anytime that plan isn't working for them,
that's why
they fall apart. Exactly.
They put them under the big lights, under pressure. Your guy's been knocked down, when your guy is cut, when you got to come up with a surprise win, regards to what. So yeah, you don't never know. You know, when you have things your way, that's a time that's great vulnerability is at hand because you're not under pressure.
I'll tell you a fighter that I'm seeing at the moment, Uncle, that I'm looking at, who's showing different game plans and very under radar. Josh Warrington. I've seen him fight two different styles against two different opponents. Against one fighter, he knew, like against Frampton, perfect tactics, work to the body, put his back against the ropes, don't allow him to get into rhythm. And he put on a ferocious attack the first 2 rounds against Frampton. He looked at the second half of the Scott Quigg fight and thought, right, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm going to impose my will on this guy. And the first 2 rounds, he just took it to Frampton. And that really set about how the fight was. And he ended up winning the fight on points. Then he also fought Lee Selby, a mover. He was able to catch Selby and hit Selby when Selby was stopped. He'd hit Selby's shots. To different strategies for different fights. And I think that's the difference with most fighters today. They've only got a plan A, or their trainers only got a plan A.
Yeah, they don't usually have plan A because, like I say, they used to things going a certain way.
Yes.
You know, a certain way. If I was a Wladimir Klitschko or any other person at the top echelon of the heavyweight division, I would be kicking the door down to try to fight Deontay Wilder before he can get better.
Derek James mentioned that he would like to work with Deontay Wilder. He said what he would do is knock the house down and rebuild it. Your thoughts?
I don't know if he can rebuild it at this stage of a boxer's career. He's got 42 fights, you know? And he better knock the building down for Charlo and rebuild that.
Oh, God.
You know, because you take a guy like Charlo, you know, both of them, you know, these guys are high-strung, high-spirited young men. And you've got to stay with them. You got to stay with their progression. You got to stay with their attitudes. You got to, you know, it's a lot of things that the trainer has to do with them. But Tony Harrison, make a case for or against him. Again, I'll say it, make a case for or make a case against him. No one can deny the fact that Tony Harrison went out there and did an educated job, a paint job with a left jab. He held him under wraps with a left jab. People say Charlo won. I don't know about that. You know, I watched the fight a couple of times and there was, you know, some lull in, a lull there. But for the most part, all I can remember was that jab that Tony Harrison was using on him. He shut him down. And it was like that. It was like Charlo didn't have any answers for it. So I think that Derek has his work cut out for him trying to maintain the champion that he has. Well, he can't maintain him now because that champion is gone. He has to come back with that. But I can tell you now that invincibility that the Charlos once had, that they had over the divisions they were in, they don't have it no more. There are people out there saying, "Hey, wait a minute, I can do something with this guy." You know.
To me, they both look pretty. They're good fighters.
now. So as far as him telling that he did it down and started all over again, so he's going to start at home.
Uncle, you need to turn your volume up. People say you're quite low.
Okay. I got it up to my max.
Try that now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Uncle.
Good for the listeners?
Not sure. We'll see. One in particular, Mega Buck Song, says to turn your mic up a bit more. But we'll see. Let me think. So, Shawn Porter.
Wait 1 minute.
Yes, Uncle.
Yeah, we just check with the other mic.
Okay. Good. Okay. You've gone quiet again, Uncle. You're whispering.
I'm how about now?
Better. Okay, we're talking about what's his name? Shawn Porter and his two styles. One style he fought against with Thurman, and another fight he fought against Garcia.
Well, he's a Shawn Porter's a short arms, short stature. There's not much available. He has to fight the style that he fights in because there's not too many styles that's going to avail him. I think he's going to be cut off at junior at welterweight because him going to junior middleweight, I just don't see it. Too short.
You know, he has a win over Alexander Usyk, right?
Porter?
In the amateurs, yes.
It must have been a little lemon weight there.
Kenny Porter made sure to let me know that, by the way.
Yeah. That was then.
yeah, that was then. I know we talked about Clarissa Shields and Ivana earlier on, so we're not going to go back and talk about that. The Charlo brothers, I have to say, they look good fighters, but I feel they both have something missing, and I don't know what that is.
One thing, they need to just chill a little bit, step down a little bit. They're too combative, verbally and too combative physically in the ring. You're not going to be able to bully everybody in the ring, right? Tony Harrison said, "I'm not having it." Right? So sit down and be patient and box with me, but don't come in here trying to bull me around because that ain't gonna work. Fear don't live here. Fear don't live here, so just go on down the street with that. And he backed it up with his fists.
So how does a Danny Jacobs do against Jamal Charlo?
I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. No two fights are the same. So you can't look at one fight and say, well, if he had a problem with this guy, he should have a problem with that guy. And you can look at the round robin of Ali, George Foreman, and Kenny Norton. You can't judge one fight by looking at another fight. But I think the fights that the Charlo brothers had the other night put them on notice that, hey, you're not as good as you
think you are. Yeah.
So humble yourself and come on back down to the classroom. There's still more to learn.
Did you see that their brother lost his title, was crying? And he said, "That's why I don't play video games. Because I don't like losing."
Who's crying?
Jamil Charlo was crying in the press conference, the post-fight press conference with Tony Harrison, and he was crying. He went, "I lost." He lost. He said he don't like losing. That's why he don't play video games.
Well, I had a lot of ways like that myself growing up. I was just an angry young man, and anything would make me cry. You know, anything. Especially if I had a fist fight and I lost it, I'd cry like a baby, man. I was never a happy loser. You know, I don't care if I won the fight, whether I lost the fight, whether it was a street fight or a fight in the ring. I always critique myself. I'd go to the privacy of my own mind and replay everything in my mind, what I did, what I should have did, and how I could have did it. You know, and I was never satisfied. Even when I won, I was never satisfied. I always wanted to do better.
Okay.
I've always been combative. I've always been in boxing. I've always been a street fighter. I've always engaged in fist fights. I just grew up like that. You know, I just grew up like that. It's in me, and it'll be in me to the day I die.
Okay. Okay. More talk about the world of boxing. Let's talk about judging in boxing in 2018.
Judging now is no different than it was in 1818.
Okay.
You know, you still got a bunch of individuals who go to a fight and they judge things. And I don't see how one judge can have something so far away from another judge. You know, they say go some different places, they sit in the ring. I just don't see that well, one has a problem, and the other one don't. I just don't understand it. But with all the modern technology we have, I would think that they would come up with a better format than to say, okay, what cameras and videos and replays, we can froze it right to the split second. And you tell them we can't do nothing about this. There's some horrible judging going on in the States, in Britain, in China for that fact. In South Africa, different. There are some poor judging going on. And I'm watching, I'm saying, did I see what I just saw? Did this judge say that guy won the fight or this guy won the fight? No, it's not like that. Somebody needs to say for it. They need to use modern technology. Because some of the fights that's being judged now, that they're giving the fights to the wrong person. Clearly. Clearly giving the fight to the wrong person.
So what was your scoring of Charlo versus Harrison then?
It was tight, 115, 113.
Okay. In your opinion, Uncle, and Seven Oceans asked the question, and I have argued back and forth, but I want to hear your opinion on this. Did you think Tyson Fury schooled Deontay Wilder?
Schooled him. Did I think that Tyson schooled Deontay Wilder?
Yes.
No. Deontay Wilder fought like a guy does in his fifth, sixth pro fight. And when you boxing a guy boxing the way in the fashion that Deontay boxed, you know, I mean, schooling him is not much to it. All you got to do is just avoid getting hit.
My argument.
That's what Tyson was doing, ducking and dodging. Then he would come back with frivolous counterpunches that wasn't doing nothing. You know? I mean, you'd have to give him the points because he's the only one that was scoring punches. But it's sort of like the Klitschko fight. It wasn't what Tyson was doing. It was what Wladimir wasn't doing. It wasn't what Tyson was doing. It was what Deontay Wilder either wouldn't or couldn't do.
My argument of this schooling and dominant performance from Tyson is he had to pick up himself off the canvas twice. You can't dominate a fight and be knocked down twice. I thought dominate meant, you know, it's just dominant performance, but he got dropped twice. So that can't be dominant and it can't be schooling.
Yeah, you got dropped twice.
That's not dominant then. And that's not schooling.
I don't know. You just you don't have much excited about it. I just think that it was an ugly fight. I think that it could have gone better. I think that the rematch would be better. They both know each other now. So I think that the rematch would be better. I look forward to seeing it. I would like to see it.
Right, listen to this. People say now you're not giving Tyson credit. They want to see these people want to give Tyson credit for coming back from a 2-year layoff, and most of the stuff that happened to his body was self-inflicted. But they don't talk about Danny Jacobs and the fact that Danny Jacobs had cancer and he came back from that. The doctor said he wouldn't fight again. They don't talk about that, but they're quick to talk about Tyson's 2-year layoff. But they don't talk about a guy that was knocked out flat and then found that he had cancer and didn't think he'd ever box again. But they don't talk about that. There's no balance.
Because that's what they want to see. That's a private issue that people wants to see. You don't think about what Danny Jacobs did. I think that Tyson Fury did good to come back from mental illness, the drugs, and yeah. But he came back and got away with it with a guy that he couldn't get away with. You know, Deontay just didn't live up to expectations that people want to see when they're looking at the heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, he just missed many punches. He kept trying the same punch over and over, and it failed over and over, and then he hit pay dirt. Some people would call it luck. You know, he hit pay dirt. You know, he found his way in the dog, you know, and he landed the punches.
Uncle, I want to
say the least.
I want to clear something up here that people like to have their own interpretation of situations, which is not the fact. There are people here that saying that you hate Fury, but I think you were the first one to tell me that you had concerns about Tyson Fury's ability going into the Klitschko fight. So I don't know how that's hating. Can you clear this up? Because we've got people online here who believe that you hate Tyson Fury, but I think they would like to think you hate Tyson Fury. Go ahead. Uncle, you're far from your phone.
Personally, I like the guy. I don't hate him. I'm just a person that calls a spade a spade. You know, personally, I like Tyson Fury. Personally, I think that Tyson Fury can be far better than what he is. You know? So I hope that clears up any thoughts in anybody's mind, because he is a boxer. You know? And we have a pretty good relationship. We've been together twice in our lives. And got along pretty good. You know? I'm just saying that I'm calling a spade a spade. That's all. I don't dislike him. I don't dislike him no more than I dislike any boxer. I was very critical of Derek Chisora too early on his career. It's not that I dislike him.
I think there's a line between fan worship and worshiping or worship of a boxer. You see, you can't criticize one boxer, but you can be critical of another boxer. people said to me, "Oh, well, I hated Fury." It's not I hate Fury. It's just that I see certain things about him. I see certain patterns. I see certain behaviors. I think, well, okay, you say this, but this has happened. You said this. You're a person of contradiction. You're a person of contradiction. You say this, but that happens. You say this, but that happens. You know, he slated a whole heap of fighters for leaving a promoter. He ends up leaving that promoter. The same thing he slated the other fighters for, loyalty and all that stuff. He went and did that. He went and did quite the opposite, where he was slating other fighters for. So for me, he's a person of contradiction. And so it's like, I shouldn't say anything. I should only say Tyson's great and leave it as that. Well, Tyson's not great. He's a good fighter. But he's not the greatest heavyweight in the world. He's not the greatest fighter in the world. He's a good fighter. But I'm not going to... You know, he's not the only person in the world that's had to deal with mental health illnesses. He's not the only one who's had to overcome it. You know, so congratulations, he overcame it. He came back. Go back, say that again, Uncle.
I think that George Foreman coming back after a 10-year layoff.
I mentioned this. I mentioned this, and I mentioned also somebody commented and said that Wladimir Klitschko had the greatest 1-2 in history. I said I would argue and say that there are other guys that had great 1-2s, including George Foreman, that knocked out Michael Moran to become heavyweight champion of the world.
It's a lot of stories in the annals of boxing. If one would just go and try to invest in searching. Invest in the stories that's there. It's there in black and white. You know, I don't have anything against Tyson Fury per se, but he's not on my to-do list. I mean, I'm not jumping up in the air saying what we do, you know?
Yeah, because people listen to our last interview. You said that Fury gets knocked out when he gets knocked out easier when he boxes southpaw. Well, he almost did get knocked out. He got dropped twice. So he wasn't too far off the mark. In the second knockdown, you know, he is more or less out. If that referee had done a normal count instead of doing a slow count, we'd have been in a different situation altogether.
I said every boxer some pattern that he can be timed in. Didn't I say that earlier?
You did.
That's what happened. Deontay Wilder timed him. Whether it was by purpose or by mistake, he timed him. You know? Look at the first knockdown, look at the second knockdown. And look what Tyson Fury is doing. This is for the fans out there, you know? Go and look at the fight. What happened with the first knockdown and the second knockdown. Then you can see where the problem is. You know? And I warn people about that. Everybody can't switch from lefty to righty and righty back to lefty. Everybody can't do that.
You know what?
I warn against it. A lot of professional fighters, including Ivana Hobson. I don't like it. You know, I always warn against it. You know, I said don't do that. You know, she likes to do it. You know, but I said don't do that. You know, and if you do it, make sure you're out of range. Because I've seen a lot of people get caught, and some people even get stopped doing that.
Yeah. Do you know what this fight is reminding me of? This Fury Wilder fight is reminding me shades of the Kovalev Ward fight. And then they had the rematch, and you know what happened there.
Right.
I tell these people, it's like they're like Fury won the fight and that's it. Well, it was that convincing. If it was that convincing, you know, he'd be champion today. And I don't think you go to America and you know, you have to grab the title from the champion. You have to make a statement. And Fury didn't make a statement, in my opinion. He got knocked down twice.
Fury is a good fighter, but he leaves punches he desired.
Yeah, let's move on from Fury. This is not the Fury channel. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk about something else. The year of 2018. Let's talk about a fight that I think, a really exciting fight that I think is going to be happening in 2019, and your thoughts about it. And the year of Canelo, what he's done this year, and the potentially meeting Danny Jacobs on the 4th of May 2019.
I think it's a good fight. I think the chemistry makes way for a good fight. Danny Jacobs versus Canelo Alvarez. I think it makes the chemistry makes for a good fight. Even though I'd like to see Danny Jacobs versus Gennady Golovkin first.
Really?
Yeah, I'd like to see him versus Gennady Golovkin first.
Why?
Just like that matchup better. I always liked it. Just like the matchup better.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Dillian White? I said that when he fought Derek Chisora, I said that he would be on the road to nowhere. And I said that that fight's taking him nowhere. It's not going to get him closer to a world title shot. Now they're digging up Paul Povetkin again.
They what?
They want Povetkin to fight. They're talking about Povetkin fighting White now.
No, that's not fair.
There you go.
That's not fair. Dillian White has done hours that B asked him to do. I think he's in 3 fights. How many fights says Joshua? 5 or 6?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Joshua time. Dillian White earned his stripes in the fight against Derek Chisora. The big payoff has got to be Anthony Joshua.
I said that this would happen. I said Povetkin would get pulled up. They're going to just keep White fighting leftovers. I've suggested Dillian White should leave Matchroom and go and join Al Heyman, or go and join Frank Warren. But I'd rather him join Al Heyman.
Yeah, if they don't give Dillian White Anthony Joshua this fight right here, I'd pull out that contract. I'd move on, and I'd put myself in line with a promoter that's going to get me.
I'd go, but I wouldn't waste time. I'd go to Al Heyman. I've said it. I've been saying either Al Heyman or Frank Warren. I've been saying this for God knows how long about Dillian White's career.
Because this guy, Eddie Hearn, is just going to keep, blocking him. He's going to block him. He's done everything that one could ask for him to get the fight with Joshua. All right? He's been the number 1 contender for the longest. He should be number 1 across the board. He's been active. Dillian White has been active. He's worked. He's earned the right to fight for the title.
And do you know what these people start pulling up? Dominic Brazil. Exactly.
What about him?
You tell me. What about him?
He had a fight the other night. He won by KO, but he do. What about him? I'm saying that Dillian White is the guy that should be in the driver's seat for the title shot. AJ, he should be the next opponent. Dillian White is in a better place than what's it that he knocked out prior to knocking out Zora?
Joe Parker.
Joe Parker, and what was the guy before that?
Lucas Brown.
Brown, and then the guy before that.
Robert Helenius.
Look at all the work that he's done. He's done a lot of work to qualify for the number 1 spot. Anthony Joshua needs to fight him. I agree to that.
Joshua went, well, Dillian's an idiot. Dillian's an idiot. And, if I take the Dillian fight, I don't want anyone telling me it was an easy touch.
That has nothing to do with that. Cecilia Breckhart law said that she only fights women that she respects. But that should not have to do with the fight itself. If somebody is qualified in that spot, then they should be given the right to fight for the title.
Although I think it could be Jerome Miller that's going to be up next, who I don't think's earned a shot at the title. But what are your thoughts, Jerome Miller?
Yeah, but I don't think Jerome Miller ranks over Dillian White for a shot at that title. Not in my book, he doesn't. I mean, Jerome Miller has been active. He's fought the who's who. But in my opinion, just my humble opinion, I think that Dillian White has earned the shot at the world championship.
He's the only one. He's the only one in the division who hasn't had a world title shot. Everyone else around him has had a world title shot or been world champion. Joseph Parker, Lucas Brown, what's his name? Bryant Jennings, Luis Ortiz, Dominic Brazil, Povetkin. All those guys have all had world title shots. But the unknown boxing fan who just Carlos Takam, exactly. All the other boxing fans out there, they're like, oh yeah, Dominic Brazil. Oh yeah, Ortiz. But all these guys have fought for world titles. So they let their personal biasness or the naivety rule their minds when they call up all these fights. Because they're following what the promoter says. And the promoter doesn't have his best interests at heart. So you see, it's not about what a fighter wants. When a promoter is more important than a boxer, there's a problem.
Lennox Lewis went on record saying that Joshua doesn't want to fight Fury. Doesn't want to fight Wilder because he's protected. I mean, went on record saying that.
He's saying now he wants to fight both of them.
All right. That's what he says, but actually, usually the champion gets who he wants. Champion gets who he wants.
So he could see Miller fighting Joshua then.
I'd like to see Dillian White get that shot at Anthony Joshua in April.
I'd like to see Dillian White go and fight Shaw, to be honest.
Who?
Manuel Shaw for the WBA regular title.
Yeah, but how can Shaw still beat him when he got busted for drugs? He can't be the WBA champion.
That's what I'm saying. So the title must be vacant now. But I can see what they'll try and do there. They'll try and get.
They got so many adults out there. I don't even know.
So if it's stripped, then it's vacant, and there should be a then Dillian White should fight Fred, what's it? Fred
Dillian White should fight Jarrell Miller, and the winner fights AJ.
But why should he fight Jarrell Miller? What's Jarrell Miller done to deserve a fight to fight Dillian White anyway?
Jarrell Miller's the number one guy for that title.
But he's going to fight Joshua next. Imagine Jarrell Miller's going to get a shot at Joshua before Dillian White has.
Yeah, because that's just further saying that Eddie Hearn is afraid Dillian White and deal with it. No way that he's supposed to title shot over Dillian White. Dillian White is from Britain. No way. All right, so explain.
What's that, Uncle?
No, but in your studio fighting.
Somebody in my studio fighting with me.
So it's somebody wrestling with you in the studio on the floor.
No, Uncle. I just took the charger out. That's all. So okay. No, probably. they probably would like to. So let's talk what else we've talked about. So I think we're going to get Charlo versus Canelo. What have you made of the Golovkin loss to Canelo?
Close fight, could have gone either way. You knew it was going to go Canelo just to create the controversy for number 3. The fight could have went either way. I had Gennady Golovkin winning the fight.
The second fight?
Yeah, I had him winning.
Okay.
I thought that he pulled it out.
Okay. What are your thoughts of the year of Alexander Usyk, your former fighter?
Hey, Usyk shining this year. Shining. 18. I went to Usyk is the guy. What did he do? He travels to 3 countries and maximize his efforts. Each one of them, he's the guy. He's the guy.
2019.
How
do you see him in 2019? What do you see for him in 2019? Do you see a shot at the heavyweight title?
2019. Alexander Usyk won the championship. Nobody see him win the heavyweight championship and win those belts in 2019.
Usyk to win the belts in 2019, you're saying?
Yeah. One or more of those belts in 2019. I'm not stuttering.
Okay. They want to know, the Fury fans want to know, how does Usyk do against Fury?
Interesting fight, but I think that Usyk points.
Why?
Speed. Styles and speed. Deontay Wilder able to put hands on Fury jab. Deontay Wilder's jab can land on Fury. Usyk's jab.
Okay. Okay. People will talk about the size. I know.
Size means little to me.
I've said that to them before.
Just like Earl Spence against Mike. It's a big size difference there, but it means little when you know your way around the ring, when you know how to box.
How do you think Mikey does against Spence?
I think he loses a decision against me. Spence. I think Mike is going to lose a decision.
Okay. The return.
Yes.
Go on.
Simply because bigger, stronger, aggressive fighter. He's just going to overpower him. I think the punching power is going to be enough to keep her off.
Okay. Adrian Broner, Manny Pacquiao.
I see Pacquiao stopping him late.
That's why I see him. I've seen it. I think hand speed, footwork. Broner too flat-footed.
I see Manny Pacquiao stopping Broner late in that fight.
Okay. Al Heyman is now on UK shores. Your thoughts?
Al Heyman, nobody's saying nothing bad about him. No, nobody. You want to hear something bad about somebody in boxing, just go to the boxes. The boxes I talk to is high on the guy. So what can I say?
Okay. Keith Thurman's return.
Yeah.
What about one time? Run time or one time or once upon a time?
He's got to do something to reignite my interest in him. My flame is grown very small. He has to do something interesting for me to be interested in him again.
Okay. Terence Crawford and his year.
Terence Crawford?
Yes.
Made a good, he set himself off right in 2019. Looking good, he's active, and he won. So, I like Terence Crawford. Seems like we got Errol Spence. I would like to see that.
Yes. Amir Khan and Kell Brook, your thoughts on that?
Amir Khan is on the clock. The clock is ticking on Amir Khan. You know, you got to go on out there and make the ball and get out of boxing. His anatomy is not good boxing. He doesn't take punches well. He doesn't take a punch well. You know, that. You can't take punches well. For him to be in boxing for as long as he's been in boxing, like a miracle. Because his anatomy does not absorb the shock of punches good. If a boxer can't take punches good, then that's a key reason for them to get out of boxing.
That's true. Broner's been caught in more trouble now. Firearms and all his gunplay. What's your thought about that, Uncle?
Like, fuck him, man. You know, who got time to waste on an idiot? You know, I've been through that one time in my trainer's career. I've been through that one person in my trainer's career, and I do not wish at any point in the rest of this career to go through that again. If I find, you know, an idiot that won't listen, that involves himself in stupidity, then let them mature on their own away from me, because I don't need the stress.
What did you make of Derek Chisora teaming up with David Haye?
It's a good thing. You know, those two guys can put their heads together, go together, and go out there and achieve something together. Then I like it. Yeah.
What about the way he got knocked up by Dillian White?
To me, it wasn't a bad knockout because he went out on the shield. He went out the way that a prize fighter is supposed to go out. He went out trying. At the time of the knockout, I had in the fight.
Okay.
At the time of the I had him slightly ahead in that fight.
But you know what? It's interesting. When I was talking, a lot of people say they had him ahead, but I found that Dillian was in control of the fight. I thought he was blocking a lot of Derek Chisora's big swings. I thought that he was actually, the work he was putting into the body was counterproductive because he was missing with big shots, which tied him out faster, which made him get knocked out in the end by the left hook. That's why I felt. From round one, I thought Dillian White had the fight under control. With the first right hand, he shook Derek up, and I thought, you know what? He's going to take his time. And it was a experienced, relaxed performance from Dillian White. Your thoughts?
You know, like I said, it's a case for and against. You know, Dillian White did a good job. You can't get away from it. Both of them went out there and did what they were supposed to do. I think that Derek tired a little bit. That fatigue caused him to get knocked out because he was trying to steal a moment's rest and he got clipped. You know?
But he got knocked out. He got knocked. He got knocked out the same way he got knocked out by David Haye, missing with big shots, getting frustrated, and then getting knocked out, clipped and knocked out. Same way.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't learn this time. Yeah.
Do you think he can still box? Do you think he can still go on and fight? Do you think he should retire now?
I don't think he should retire. I still think that come back and then fight and get back in the thing.
Okay. Fair enough.
He's got to stay.
Fair enough. Joe Joyce. Everyone wants to hear a bit about Joe Joyce and Dave Allen.
Well, that's the fight that's coming up?
No, Joe Joyce is going to fight Luis Ortiz, I understand.
Joe Joyce respecting one thing that he's not ducking. He's asking for it. You know, come on, show me what you got. So I respect Joe Joyce. I respect the choice because he asked for Jarrell Miller. He asked for Luis Ortiz, asked him for the who in the heavyweight division. And with only 4 or 5 fights, he's asking for him. Come on, let's go. Because Joe Joyce is what, 32, 33?
Yeah.
So Joe Joyce has said, I have a lot of time for this. Right? Give me the fighters. He spent a lot of time in the amateur ranks. So in the amateur rank, he's been to a lot of international tournaments, European tournaments. So you score basically the best of the best, the who's who of the heavyweight division. There's another guy there in Croatia, Filip Irgov.
Yeah.
That he was in the Olympics with Joe Joyce. You know, so these guys, this new Olympian, these guys are not the kind of Olympians that's going to just come in and do things the regular way. You know, go to the 4, 6, 7 round. These guys want it now. So Joe Joyce is saying, come to me now. No, I'll pick right now. We're only 3, 4 fights. I'll fight you. I respect that.
Okay. Dave Allen. It's become a bit of a cult figure in the UK.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts about Dave Allen. You know, honestly, they want a good fight, just to see what he does in the next 2 fights.
Okay. All right. Daniel Dubois.
What about that?
His year in boxing. Fought Kevin Johnson in his last fight, and it went to points, I think.
He went those right. He did those fights. He did what he asked him to do. That's all he can do. I respect him because he's stepping up and he's taking the fight that his people are giving him. He's stepping up and he's fighting. 2020 should be his birthday. I think he needs to work with throughout the year 2019 and see what he can do in 2020.
Here's a name that should cause a bit of a controversy on the channel. Anthony Yard, the beast from the east, and Tunde Ajayi.
Anthony Yard is he's got to understand he has an ulterior motive out of it, but he's got to understand he's in a position where they're going to take certain fights. He's turned down 2 major fights. I understand, you know, because he's not ready yet. He's not ready. But you can't sit on a position. You can't sit on the. I mean, I believe he has some kind of international belt. You can't sit on those belts and say I'm not ready yet. You have to perform once you're in that position. Once you win the WBO or Pacific title or United title, whatever the title, but you have to defend. Let on ask the belt.
Okay, so your thoughts of Anthony Yard? There was a talk about him fighting Sullivan Barrera, and now he may have pulled out of that fight. I'm hearing.
I understand that he pulled out the
Uh
fight.
oh.
But that's not Sullivan first fight he pulled out another fight.
Wow.
He pulled out at 2 high-profile fights. Pulled out in the name of. So I'm saying you can't sit back and pick it. When you get at a certain level, you got to fight. Yeah, you got to fight.
They're calling him Anthony Cab Driver Yard.
What?
Anthony Cab Driver's Yard. That's what some of the fans are calling him now. And then somebody else is British true box tailing off his success for his own financial gain.
Wow, that's
Well, I think he's the best marketed fighter that's not got Olympic background or an ABA title background, he's better marketed than most fighters most fighters in this country and most fighters in America. He's more marketed. Adidas deals and this deal and that deal.
Yeah, well, you gotta make a move soon. Can't keep saying that I'm not ready.
Okay, but it's lions in the camp, Uncle. That's the say. Lions in the camp.
Really? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's it. Lions in the camp.
He's got to do something soon. I know that. I did have fan interest in him, but now I'm starting to have second thoughts. He turned down 2 fights. He's not the first guy that had to come up tough, fighting tough guy.
What about Boatsy then, the other light heavyweight?
I don't know that much about him.
Did you watch the Dogba fight? Okay. Never mind. Questions asked, does a Fury who trains with Bashir for 6 months beat everyone in the division at Ingram?
Ask that question again.
Does a Fury who trains with Bashir for 6 months beat everyone in the division at Ingram?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be forthcoming. No, I wouldn't say that. But I'd say a Fury that worked with me for 1 year and 3 fights would be close to being able to do that.
1 year.
Yeah, but I don't think that would be I would be a good trainer for Fury. Because my style of teaching would conflict with the way of the way applying things.
Okay. Why'd you say that?
I don't know. I get the impression that we would clash. You know, the things I would want from him, the things that he'd be willing to give. You know, he has a particular style and I have a particular style, and they clash. You know?
Somebody's made a comment here. Ruben, I think he's trying to wind you up. He says, come on, Marky, Bashir's good, but he's not Roach. Damn right I'm not Roach.
I had to work to get where I am at in boxing. That's something that's familiar to Freddie Roach.
Yeah.
You know? No, he's right about that. I'm no Roach.
No Roach. Uncle, what fight would you most want to see in 2019?
Deontay Wilder versus AJ.
Yeah, of course.
Tyson Fury versus AJ.
Yes.
No, I'd like to see those fights.
What about Anthony Yard?
About 2 fights, I'm not even paying attention to Anthony Yard.
Where does Bryant Jennings and Hughie Fury fit in 2019?
At the back of the line. At the back of the line. They gotta look. They both gotta. They have to roll it. That's what they have to do. They have to roll the dice. You can't go back and take 2, 3 mediocre fights and think you'll break right back in the spotlight. Tyson Fury got his mind on that. Him again. And Brian Jennings got to make a move now. Brian Jennings can't let 2019 pass him by without a serious move. Let people know that, hey, Brian, I'm here, I'm back.
Okay. As for Hughie Fury?
Hughie Fury, he's got to do some serious recollecting. You know, doing better than what he did in the last 2 fights. I wasn't impressed with the Joseph Parker fight. I wasn't impressed with the Rapula fight. He's a big guy, he's jumping around the ring like he's welterweight or something, and he needs to sit down and go to work. You know.
Okay. Do you know anything about the up and coming fighter called Ajagaba?
Ajibaka. Heavyweight?
Yes. Nigerian.
Wait, is it over that way somewhere, right?
I'm not sure. I think he's trained by Ronnie Shields. I could be wrong. Ronnie Shields is training him.
Oh, yeah. I know the big African guy, the Nigerian guy.
Yeah.
He's big and strong. That's all I see. Big, strong guy. I don't know how good he can box. I don't know what he can take. I haven't seen him, you know, any amateur film on him or anything. I don't know too much about him. He's a big guy, big, strong guy. That's all I know.
You know, what about there's a guy called they're calling him the Beast. James Wilson, I think his name might be. The Beast.
James Wilson from where?
He's an American guy, and they call him the Beast.
James Wilson. James Wilson?
James or Wilson, yeah, something like that. He's a very God-fearing man, and I think he was in MMA before. He's turned into boxing, and he moves his head. It moves a bit like Tyson.
He's a little short guy, right?
Yeah. Very explosive, knocking guys out all over the place now.
Short guy. He's an older guy. That guy's not a young guy.
Yeah, he's a bit older. He looks in his 30s.
Was it James Wilson?
Something like that, yeah. Oh. Let me look at this guy. He's nicknamed the Beast. I think it's James Wilson. He's nicknamed the Beast. I'll check him out now for sure. I'll actually I'll put the Beast.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, guys.
Is it James Wilson?
I'll check out. Okay. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I worked around like Mike Tyson for 3 years. I'm not impressed.
32 years old. I think he's signed with I think he's gone to Golden Boy or Top Rank. One of them two. He's gone to. James
He's going to have to get busy soon. He went to Golden Boy on top. They're going to put him in. Reminds me of a little Jimmy Thunder.
Yeah. The guy's name is Ajaba.
Right now, he's a big, strong guy that's knocking people out. You can't tell. You can't tell. Time along.
Okay.
This guy, the Beast, I don't know where he's going. You know? But today's division, no, I don't see it.
Okay. Do you know Trey Lip Morrison?
Yeah, I heard about him.
Would you consider training him? Freddie Roach liked him since then. Freddie Roach is the benchmark for some people. Not my benchmark, but some people's benchmark.
I got my hands full with the heavyweights I got. Work with heavyweights is a tough task. Looking down the future. So I got more on this and that's Rinko, and I'm satisfied with that time being.
Let's close on your favorite heavyweight, David Price.
I don't know what David Price is. He won the fight. They gave me the other day. He won that big. So that's a look in the right direction. Then, hey, get the binoculars.
If that's a look in the right direction, get the binoculars. Oh, God.
crying, getting up off the canvas.
Oh, uncle. Oh man, guys. What would be your advice? What would be his advice to Trey Lip Morrison? Thanks, Grim. You're a beast, bro.
Trey Lip Morrison, he hasn't done anything. Well, other than the fact that he's the son of a famous boxer, what has he done? I know that Freddie gave him. How many fights does it Trey Lip Morrison have?
Don't know.
Huh?
No, I don't know. I know of him because I was setting up an interview to do with Tommy Morrison. It was in the final days before he died. And we were setting up an interview to do. Not a lot of people know the story, but I was setting up an interview. I was talking to his either his wife or his partner, and I was setting up the interview to do the interview. And then days later, discovered Tommy had died. So, and I did know about Trey Lip Morrison because I was going to try and get an interview because he only just got into boxing.
I think he got 2 sons that's boxing.
There's one of them I knew.
I think he has sons that's currently boxing. 2 sons.
Okay.
I don't know what to say. Mothers. I know his sons.
Okay. What do you think of? What does Bashir think of Price's projection for 2019? Beaten Brown will put him on the map again.
The guy he just beat?
No, for David Price, if he beats Lucas Brown, what do you think of that for you?
That's his next fight?
Possibly, yes.
He's Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown is a senior citizen. Lucas Brown should be sitting in the kitchen next to me right now. If he beats Lucas Brown, does that put him on the map? I'm asking David, look at the question you just asked me and answer your own question. Please give me a break, David. Come on, man.
Right, and I will now close on this particular fighter, the best fighter, the pound for pound great, the all-time greatest fighter of all time. If you listen to Top Rank, Vasily Lomachenko.
Vasily Lomachenko is right now is in the class by himself. Nobody can touch him. He's a speaking star and he's speaking fast. He's untouchable. Nobody can touch him. Nobody can touch him. He's a fighter. And he's taking on all comers, so I don't have nothing bad to say about him. He's there and he's taking on, and he's lining him up and he's knocking him down. You can't say nothing bad about him.
What do you make of this fight with him and the talk about him and Tank Davis?
Another fight. That's the thing that make the fight when they got to do. Nobody sees when they're primes.
Break it up, Uncle.
I think it was what, 31, 32?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The fight should and could have been made at least 8 months ago. They should have made this fight. You got Earl Smith, Crawford. It's taking forever to make that fight. Everybody in the division running from Earl Spence. Here comes little Mikey Garcia says, I'll fight. I'll fight him. No problem. I'll fight him.
On the subject of Mikey Garcia, he has now got himself involved with the guy that does Snack. And he was known as a reported storage drug supplier. What are your thoughts on the guy that's Garcia's teaming up with him?
I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. I don't want to make any.
Okay.
But I will say that the drug use in the sport has to be stopped. Somebody has got to put their foot down. And the only way to stop these people for life not just from the corner, but from being even a trainer. You can't allow them in the sport to be a trainer. So they should be warned beforehand that if you get caught being involved with these drugs, you're going to be banned from the sport all the way around the board. You can't even come in to train nobody.
Chris Eubank Jr.
I'm not a Chris Eubank fan at all. I don't know anything about him.
He's going to fight James DeGale next, I understand.
I'm not attracted to this guy. He's just a major turnoff for me. I don't pay no attention to what he. I suppose I should, but it's very difficult for me to get involved.
Why?
Arrogance. Arrogance. I just can't get it. Can't get into it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Uncle, is there anything you'd like to say before we finish?
No, boxing lives. No, boxing lives. I want to see how everybody does the new year coming. I won't live to it, but living and we'll see what's going to happen. I want to see what Tyson Fury is going to do in 2019. If him and Deontay Wilder's going to fight again, I want to see if AJ is going to step up and fight Dillian White. I want to see this fight. I don't want to see the Jarrell Miller. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I want to see Dillian White first. If anything, I would think that Eddie Hearn would tell Dillian White to fight Jarrell Miller and win a fight with AJ. I think that he put Jarrell up. I think he put Dillian White through hell and hot water. He needs to get the fight.
Okay. All right. Uncle, thank you so much. Do you have a message to people listening in for the year of 2018 and going into 2019?
Yeah, I wish everybody a successful, prosperous new year. Wish you health, your family. And I hope everybody that's with us now listening will be here listening to us next week this time, God willing, all of us got to go sometime. But if you go believe it. That's all. Have a good night. Love you all.
Uncle Bashir, thank you so much as always.
Welcome. Not a problem.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.